Good evening, everyone. It's a different view, I know. Hope you like this one better, though. Yeah. Hi, how is everybody doing here tonight? Glad that you guys are all here and joining me. Um, yeah, it was kind of well, not really a last minute decision because I was kind of thinking about this pretty much all day. Um, well, let me get to acknowledging who's here, and then we'll get to explaining all of that. So let me scroll back up, and let's say, okay, Miss Kim Burris is here. Hi, Kim. Hello, hello. Kitty Crafts is here. Pearl Medina, how you doing? Glad you made it here tonight. We got Linda Faust here. Hi, Linda. Gloria Garris is here. Janice Miller. Hello, hello. Mary G saying hello. Hello, Mary. Marilyn Attica. Okay, we also got Sandra Cedars checking in. Hello, happy Wednesday. And Marla Pavlzik. Hello, Marla. And Marjorie Hall. Happy Wednesday. Huh. You know, you're the second Marjorie Hall that I know. All right, guys. So, what am I up to tonight? Well, if you saw this past Saturday, Tiffany finished her Tula Pink Butterfly quilt. I'm still putting mine together, so I'm gonna continue putting this quilt on or sewing this quilt without Tiffany. So I'm just gonna kind of do it on my own time. So that's what I'm working on tonight. And Tiffany is kind of holding me accountable to get this quilt done. So I do need to get it done. So I figure, you know what? I'm sitting here at the sewing machine. I might as well turn on the cameras and turn on the computers and maybe spend an hour to an hour and a half just kind of sewing and chatting with all of you. So yeah, that's what I'm doing tonight. Um, Hello, Miss Nancy. Glad that you made it here. Okay. Plus, I wanted to see how this new. Well, I didn't do a total change, but I did kind of adjust the cameras a little bit, so you can kind of see a little bit more of the design wall behind me, and kind of got a new camera lens. It's a wide-angled lens, so you can kind of see more than just me up close. Yeah. So hopefully this view works out better for people. All right. So let's get, whoops. We'll get started with this. Oh, forgot. I got to switch to that. All right. So I am doing the body of the butterfly. Then I still have, I already did that. That was easy. And we have to do the pie blocks, which is the curves. And then we got, yeah, more of the larger ones. And then I can start putting the sections together. Now, yep, so we are doing, let's see, we're doing the Farah body. Okay, so, yep, that's what we're doing. Okay, so what is everybody up to tonight? Sorry, if it looks like I'm just staring aimlessly at the camera, I'm not. I actually do have a teleprompter here where I can kind of see the chat scrolling. Um, I know what I can do. So if you kind of look at, yeah, here's what I see with the camera. Whoops. Because I got a comment once, why do you keep staring at the camera like you're such in a daze? Well, it's actually, if you can kind of see the reflection there, I'm actually reading the chat. The camera is actually behind all of this. It's a teleprompter where I can actually read, or there's a mirror, a two-way mirror right in front of the camera, but it just kind of looks like I'm just staring at you in there. So let's see. Sandra Cedar says, I'm loving that you are doing this, Eric, and at a pace most might. Okay. So I'm the slowpoke, but at least I know I'm in good company. What happened to my car? Yeah. So I was on this past Sunday, I was actually supposed to be at Tiffany's place. I was planning on being in Havasu anyway because there was a hiking trail that I wanted to look at. So, which is actually down the street from Tiffany. And so I figured, well, if I'm already there, I might as well say hi, right? So I was planning on doing that on Sunday, but it was a good thing that I didn't actually make it there. As I got on the freeway, started heading out to Lake Havasu. Right before I left on the outskirts of Las Vegas, my car, I noticed, was overheating. And, the engine kind of stopped and there was steam coming out. What I found out was something busted open my radiator, and so all the water, the water tank was just bone dry, literally bone dry. And in this desert heat, that's not a good thing on a car. So I pulled over, popped the hood open, and of course all the steam came out. And I said, oh boy, this can't be good. So fortunately, it happened in a spot where I still had a little bit of cell service. I did have to walk maybe about a mile down the highway, but I wasn't so far out in the desert that I was beyond civilization's reach. So it did take me a while to actually get all of that sorted out. The car was in fact towed to a garage, but because it was a holiday weekend, the garage wasn't open, or actually it was a Sunday, so the garage wasn't open, so I just had to leave it there and Uber my way back home. And by that time, it was already 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so I had to kind of call Tiffany with the news. I knew she was sleeping and taking her afternoon nap, but I ended up canceling with her on that. So car is okay. They were able to kind of patch it up fairly quickly. Just another thing to add on to my growing bill for car repairs. So yeah, that's what happened. But you know what? Fortunately, nobody was hurt and I was safe. And again, I wasn't that far out, way out in the desert or in the middle of nowhere. So, yeah, it could have been worse. I could have been stuck out in the desert and had to hitchhike my way back. But I'm just thankful that it happened at the spot where it happened. Not so crazy about the timing of it all, though. But that was my episode of what happened this past weekend. I was lucky. You're so right, Sandra. I am very lucky that I actually didn't get burned by the steam. Of course, took the precautions. I did have hiking gear with me, so that includes like a towel and gloves. So I could use that to get the hood open. But, even before I got the hood open and even before we got to the garage, I already knew what was wrong with the car because I've had these problems before. Well, not with this car, but you know, in the past. So I already knew what was going on. And yeah, the mechanic kind of confirmed it. He said that something kind of gashed a big hole right into your radiators. That's why the water was gone. So, but again, you know, these things happen. I'm just glad that it didn't happen in a bad spot. Could have been worse. Okay, so how many of these do I need to make? It's gonna be a lot of these flying geese. And you know what? I should actually So what is everybody making tonight? Or are we just kind of hanging out and watching? Let's see. And look. Wait a minute. I must have missed a comment. Let me scroll back up a little bit here. Gloria says she lives in Western New York, so she's just relaxing before bed. I don't mind if you stare at the camera at us. Okay. No way, you're a slowpoke. Yes, I am a slowpoke. And let's see. Thank goodness. It's always something. Yes, it's always something. But you know what? The car, I just kind of realized the car is, I know, well, geez, 2011. So 2021 would have been 10 years. So it's about 14 years old. And it's not that it has, I mean, it doesn't have that many miles. I mean, I just barely broke 150,000 miles for a 10-year-old, over a 10-year-old car. That's pretty darn good, I would say. Kimber says, I'm making my recliner behave. Okay, so Marilyn says she started her butterfly quilt. Oh no. Diane Watson says she finished 2 Sophie's Choice star blocks for a quilt guild drawing. And I'm just taking my sweet old time. If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Gloom, despair, and agony on me. Does anybody remember that? I sure do. Hi, Linda's Trendy Threads. Saying she found the channel last week. Well, welcome, welcome. Okay, then we'll make a... Okay, I cut all these 3-inch, or is it 3 inches, or I forget what size I cut these, but I cut all these extra squares, and I didn't need to, so I'm going to just use it to make these flying geese units. Da, 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 da. And Cynthia Kirk says she's quilting in the ditch or she's ditch quilting a quilt for a friend. Right there. You know what? I'm just going to cut this instead of trying to guesswork where that half-inch mark is. Oh boy, I really can't see where's that line. There it is. I can use the... Nope. Let's press this one back. Oh, wrong way. And we'll get this one sewn on. Okay, there we go. So many awesome projects everyone is working on. Yes. Gloria Garris says, I'm preparing to make me some new PJs in the next couple of weeks. Oh, yes, fall is a-coming. It's that time of the year where we transition into fall. And it's coming. You know, lately it's been pretty cool here in Las Vegas. I think the temperature's been around maybe 101 to 105 at the most. I mean, it's still hot, but not unbearably hot. And there's been a lot of cloud cover, so it's been pretty cool these past few days. Joyce says, I'm still working on my sister's memory quilt, and I've been working on a Christmas quilt. Hello, hello, Miss Shirley. That's around to it. How you doing, girl? Hope you're doing better. Okay, so I'm gonna sew this one on. Yep, that looks good. I'll cut this. And I can use these half square triangles for something. I don't know what, but it'll get used for something. Okay, so I got the red, got the orange. I'll press these two back. I'll do blue. Ooh, I like this one better. Yeah, that one's better. Okay, the blue. I'll do the blue next. Joyce says, years ago I bought a whole boat of flannel was planning on making my family all matching pajamas, pants, and needless to say, I still have the whole bolt of flannel. Well, to that, I say life just gets in the way, doesn't it? So, hello, Miss Jackie. And Sandra says the weather in Florida has been delightful the past week or so, low 70s to mid 80s with next to no humidity. Wow. That's unusual for Florida. Okay, I'm just dealing with this half square triangle. I'm going to use it for something. Don't know what yet. I have an red, I have an orange. Okay, now I need to have, let's see, what's my next color? Purple. I'll do a dark purple. Don't have a green. I need that. I said this before and I will say this again. This is one of those projects where you do want to save your scrap pieces or your extra cutouts or extra cut up fabric pieces, because a lot of the blocks require the same size pieces, and so it's a good idea to just, if you got cut extra, even if it's one or two, just save it, because you never know if you're going to use it, or you could use it for your next block. Okay. Oh, hang on. Sorry. I got to sneeze. Maybe not. Don't you just hate that feeling when you feel the sneeze coming on, but it doesn't come out? Down in Miami, it's been pouring rain all day long for a week. Don, you can send some of that this way, because it's not like we can't use the rain out here in the desert. But I hope you don't drown. Let's put that to the side. I'm going to just make sure I finish this half square triangle, this flying geese unit here. I might need to trim this one up. That looks good. And I can press that back. And how did this come out? Oh, very good. Yay! This is not my favorite technique of doing flying geese. I would much rather prefer doing a 4 at a time, but because I only need one unit of each, of each color combination. It doesn't make sense for me to do it 4 at a time. Whoa, cut that one really crooked, but it still works. And we press. And we read. I hate when that happens. Then when you least expect it, the sneeze sneaks up on you and you aren't ready. Isn't that so, Kim? We could use some rain also. That's Jackie. Okay, well, let's both do the rain dance then. Let's make it rain. Hi, Susie Hewlett. Okay, so I need let's see, we got orange, blue and purple. Let's do a yellow. I see this bright yellow here, so let's do this one. Hi, Suzanne Taylor. Here lately seems like I have the sneezes, and it's not just one, it's like 10 before I stop. It's more like 20 for me here, Nancy. Yeah, once I start sneezing, oh boy, sometimes I just keep going. It's like you sneeze once, then you feel it come back, and you sneeze twice, and then at some point I just can't stop, so I just have to hold my breath. And that does not work, by the way, but I still do it like an idiot. Oh, didn't line it up quite right, but there, got it. Okay, and I will sew this one. And I can get this off. I'm up for a ring dance in SoCal, okay. And Kim Burris says, I make PJ pants every year for my grandkids and they love them. They've already asked if I'm making them this Christmas. You know, I asked, for those of you that didn't know, my mom does sew. She knows how to sew. She usually makes utilitarian things, and she used to sew clothing. One time, I asked her to make me a pair of pants. She told me there's not enough fabric. I was like, well, gee, thanks, Mom. Have to run, Eric. It was nice, but doggies won't want their midnight stroll. Have a great visit. See you soon. Thank you, Sandra. Let's see how I did with this one. Not bad. Okay. Let's go with this. Put that down. Okay. Got a whole system going here. Okay. Hey, Carissa. Kimber says, I have allergies and a few years ago started sneezing after a trip to a store. I sneezed 24 times, popped 3 ribs out. Wow. Then threw my back out. Ouch. Okay, I do sneeze kind of violently. Not that violently, though. Wow. Green next. You got it, Nancy. Oh, there is a green in here. Okay. Do I go lime green or do I go military green or moss green? I kind of like the lime, but let's see. How does it look with all... Where's the yellow? Dark green. Nah, too bright. I'll go with the darker one. I really like the orange flying geese. I'm assuming you're talking about this one. Yeah, I wasn't so sure about that fabric, but I think I got it out of the scrap bin at Soya. And I said, I need an orange, so I might as well take it. But when you cut it up, it looks kind of a little different than when you see the entire yardage. Or even if you have just a small fat quarter size, sometimes if you cut it smaller, looks a little different. Dark green, lime. No, yes, okay. Well, I'm going to end up using the dark green. But I think we have to... Well, I'm going to just do something totally wacko on this body because we have to make a chevron pattern, and I also need to... I need to do the top half of this. And I might just make it totally scrappy. We'll see how this goes. Oh, I got one more. Mm-mm-mm. Uh, Carissa's hand is hurting bad. Oh no, Carissa, I hope you didn't strain it too hard or hurt it too badly. Um, Not being able to sew or do easy stuff because the surgery is making me mad. Oh. Well, Carissa, just think of what's going to happen long term. Hopefully, the surgery went well and it's going to make your hand a lot better for a lot longer. Just think of it that way. But that's, well, yeah. Do you, Eric, do you ever sell your cutoffs on the short side for, do I sell my cutoffs on the short side for quarter square triangles? Do I sell them, or do you mean do I give them away, or do I use them? Okay, do you sew your cutoffs? I actually do. Normally, if I do have like a cutoff piece, I'll turn it into a half square triangle and save it for a rainy day. Um, I usually don't keep the cutoffs like as separate triangle pieces. No, I will usually just sew them together right away. Do I make quarter square triangles out of these? Not really. And the primary reason why I don't do that is because if I were to make this into a quarter square triangle or like an hourglass unit, this is a biased edge. And for me, I don't do well with biased edges. I mean, I can construct blocks with it, but I don't like to have a biased edge on the outside of a block, so I tend not to do that. But that is something that a lot of people do. I know a lot of my quilting friends, they will turn those cutoff triangles into quarter square triangles. Um, I usually just leave it as a half square triangle, and I mean, I got a pile or a bin full of those, and I got to do something with it. So a lot of times I'll just kind of make a flying geese unit, a small flying geese unit, or I'll just use it like this as a half square triangle and put it on as a cornerstone of some sort. Um, yeah, put it this way: if there's a will, there's a way. I'm gonna find a use for it. So, and I'm pretty sure most of us are probably like that. Okay, cut this one off. Let's see, where are we? Did I make a good choice? I think so. Whoops, sorry, camera's going out. Got that, okay. I need 2 more because there's 9, so I'm gonna choose. I gotta do a pink. I mean, it is a Tula Pink pattern. So I'm gonna do the pink. And this turquoise is kind of screaming at me here, so I'm gonna do that. Okay, so Kim, thank you very much. You have activated our hot topic for this video. And the question is, what quilts or projects do you want to get done before this year is over? I'm doing one of mine. Because my goal is to actually get this Tula Pink Butterfly quilt done by the end of this, or at least the top, the quilt top. We'll get this done by the end of September because there's a lot of other projects coming on board during October and the rest of the year. So, because the holidays are coming up. Can you guys believe it's already September? It's like, oh my gosh. I mean, it was May when I was starting my new job, and it's like I just blinked and what? September? Oh, I need to cut the pink. Yeah. Actually, my boss my boss today was like, "Oh, how long have you been here? 1, 2 years?" I'm like, "No." Not even half a year yet. She's like, "What? I thought you've been here for a year already." I'm like, "No, I only started in May." But a lot has happened in the May, June, July, August. 4 months. 4 months. 4 months. Which is probably why she thought I had been there for years. Let's see. Kimber says, I want to finish hand quilting my ant quilt and get the 2 I have rolled up, tied, and bound so I can use them. Ooh. Okay. Kara says, I was hoping you would use the turquoise. Oh, well, your wish was my command. You know, I should do a live session where I just have everybody vote for whatever color or whatever block color, make the choice for me. We just take a quick poll. I did do that a couple times. And oh boy, the answers were all over the place. And of course, somebody's gonna get disappointed, but that's what happens when you're in, or when you do a voting system like that. Somebody's always gonna get disappointed. Can't please everybody, but you try to satisfy most. Hello, Barb. When do you think you'll be finished with this? Hopefully by the end of this month. That is my goal. I actually don't have too much to do. I do have one of the more difficult blocks to do, which is the wheel, or the, what does she call it? The pie. But after that, I can kind of start putting my sections, or start kind of putting the whole quilt together. Yeah. But my goal is to actually just get this quilt, or at least the quilt top, done by the end of September. So, which brings me to this announcement. I'm glad you guys have asked that, because my plan for the rest of September, again, you know, having this goal of getting this particular quilt done. And I know a lot of people are anxious to see how this quilt is going to turn out because I'm not using Tula Pink fabric, but you know, you can kind of see the blocks behind me where people are getting kind of interested to seeing how it's all going to come together. So with all that being said, I am making it a point that on every Wednesday night, either at 6:30 or 7 sometime, I don't want to bother my good friend Miss T of T Quilts. She does a live every Wednesday night, starting, I think it's 7 o'clock her time, but it's 5 p.m. West Coast time or Pacific time. So I don't want to interfere with that because she is a good friend, and to me it would just be disrespectful if I go on live while she's on. Although we did do it on the Saturdays. But anyway, I am gonna be going on live at least for the month of September, Wednesday night, starting at 7 o'clock at the latest. I might start earlier. So keep your notifications. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell, and make sure that the notifications are working. And even if they're not, just check in on the channel anyway. Kara says, Eric, sounds like you impressed your boss with hard work. Well, she gave me a lot of projects to do in a short time. I mean, as soon as I got on board, I had to kind of figure out this one particular situation and try to smooth out the relationship with a particular vendor because she was having a hard time with them, and because she doesn't understand some of the accounting practices. You know, she was getting a hard time just trying to manage their bill and try to understand their billing. So that was my first project, and then we had to close out 2024, which we got done. Then we entered into a new business venture, buying out one of our smaller competitors, which, happy to say, it's in the process, it's in negotiations, and we finally got a signed contract last week, and they were happy with how I estimated a good price for them to negotiate with, and came up with a valuation. So the previous owner, or the guy who's selling the business, is happy. He just wants to get out of the business. But we feel like a fair deal, although we are paying an arm and a leg for it. But, you know, hopefully it'll be a good business decision for us. And now we have we're launching into another business venture, I just found out. So never a dull moment. Yeah. Hey, Jim. Joyce says, my daughter wants me to make her and her hubby a black and white exploding heart quilt with a touch of red here and there. A black and white with a touch of red. Ooh. I would love to see that color combination. Okay, you have 8 pie blocks, 2 large wheels, 2 small wheels. Next, I've done mine, and I'm almost done with the 136 HSTs and getting them trimmed. Oh, yeah, those HSTs were killer. My goodness. Okay, so again, for those of you who came in late, I am planning on to do lives every Wednesday night for at least to the end of September, specifically to finish this quilt. because everybody's kind of on my case about it. Tiffany's like, you better finish it. You better finish it so you can bring it here and quilt it. So I'm like, okay, okay, okay. And I know people have been saying they're anxious to see how this quilt is going to turn out because of the color choices that I've been making and the fact that I'm not using Tula Pink fabric. So okay, so I'm just going to sew up the rest of these half square triangles, and that one's sewn together. I will, where are my snips? And wow, took me an hour to sew out 9 flying geese. But then again, I'm pretty slow at this. But let me just trim this. So I'm gonna grab the other ruler. Okay. So this will be, these Wednesday night lives will be a race against time because I'm not going to stay on too long since it is a work night and I do have to be up and out by 4 a.m. So, but I'm choosing to do it on Wednesdays because we get out early on Wednesday. Or I usually get home early on a Wednesday, I should say. That one's pretty good. That one's good. No, they're all pretty good. Okay. Guess I don't need to trim that much. Okay. Sounds pretty yummy. Yeah, it does sound pretty yummy, Jim. Tiffany's long arm is broken. Yeah, she told me about that on Sunday when I called her. Interestingly, she was telling me that the person that she called is actually a handy quilter service person, but I guess they're allowed to work on other company machines. So that was interesting. All right. So that will be it for tonight. Wow, an hour went by really fast. And I didn't plan on staying on for an hour. Well, we'll keep it to about an hour. And, well, some nights I might go longer, but not tonight because I got other things, or I got another project that I need to get done. So here are the flying geese units. Now I do have to make the matching because it is a chevron pattern. So I do have to make the other flying geese unit where this fabric becomes the body and then that fabric is something else. So yeah, here's half the body of what I got done tonight. Not bad, considering I was kind of cutting and being sidetracked with the side project there. But there we go. There we go. That actually looks pretty pretty. Pretty. Kind of pretty. If I do say so myself. All right, guys. So that will be it for tonight. Again, we'll be doing a live, or we'll be doing this every Wednesday night. So yeah, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and then make sure you do click on the bell for notifications so that you'll be alerted when I go on live. It'll be every Wednesday night, somewhere between 6:30 and 7 we'll start, and we'll go for about an hour, see how much I can get done. Hopefully I can get this quilt top done by the end of this month, and that's my goal. So there could be other lives at various times. So again, just make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you got the notification bell turned on. And yeah. So with that, that is the live for tonight. If there's any last minute questions, people saying thank you, good night, Claudia, good night, Diane, good night, Mary, good night, Kim, good night. Oh, thank you, Nancy. All right, guys, so that is it for tonight. So thank you guys for joining me here on the very last minute, and then we'll see you guys next week. But until then, let's all get out there. Let's all create something. So, bye for now. Where is the button?